Kent and Melanie, as you can see here, I've got a piece of glass in my hand. Well, this piece of glass actually came from this window right here behind me on the east side of the Pawnee Hotel. The girl was checked out on the scene. She was said to be okay. However, the boy was then taken to Great Plains Hospital right here in North Platte. Just a short time ago, we also heard that he was being transferred to Kearney as well. Hey Holly, yeah, I'm here at Hall School, where this is actually a staging area with the American Red Cross and the Salvation Army, where firefighters can come grab a bite to eat before they have to go continue working. It's also being a holding area for people who are being temporarily displaced from their homes, where they can come grab some food and some water while they're waiting. Now, I actually spoke to someone earlier today who was experiencing being displaced from his home. We're currently traveling eastbound on I-80. Haven't seen a lot of action yet. There has been a lot of large sales with the big updraft, but we have not yet seen a tornado. I'm going to give you a shot of what we're looking at right now. The age of social media has been able to help us connect with people worldwide. Some parents are even concerned that their son or daughters are able to talk to complete strangers from another country. Perhaps it's the people that live a lot closer that you should be concerned about.
We have had cases where children have been communicating with someone who number one didn't exist. They were adults, but they're having real life conversations. They're asking for photographs. They're really starting a grooming process for these children.
The grooming process can begin with something as simple as making a flattering comment on a photo or a private message. But to a predator, the end goal of that conversation is much more sinister.
The eventual thing is a meeting, and strangers coming into your child's life, into your child's bedroom, is certainly a scary thing for most parents. And there's tons and tons of people that want to do that.
As you can see with this map right here, there are dozens of sex offenders right here in your neighborhood.
Know who your neighbors are, have your home well lit. Security devices, they're everywhere that you could have, and be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of who's in your neighborhoods when you're out and about.
Chief Deputy Kramer says even though social media can bring about scary situations, it can also be used for good. But it comes down to the parents making sure to monitor their kids.
Check your children's phones, check what they're doing, and see who they're communicating with. We've had several cases where the parents had no idea who their child's communicating with online. That's very big. But even around the community, know who your children are going with at all times. Experts say it's always a good idea to take your kid's cell phone and tablet before they go to bed at night, and to have their computer in a public and open space within the house. From Nebraska, I'm Jace Barraclough, News 2. At approximately 10 o'clock Saturday night, police were dispatched to a shooting on North Front Road in North Platte. It was just a short distance here behind me that a man was shot multiple times in the leg by 22-year-old Jared Falcana. After the shooting, Jared locked himself inside of his house, creating a standoff between him and law enforcement. Police tried for hours to make contact with the suspect. They even had a family friend plead with him to surrender.
Give your dad a call or call me right now. This ain't never gonna go away until you call one of us and we get this figured out. You've got to call me or your dad, okay? You gotta help us along here, but it's gonna get any better. Find some lights up there so you can hear us talking to me.
After many failed attempts from the family friend, at that point, the Nebraska State Patrol took over and began to make requests from the suspect.
Yeah, please come to the front door. This is the Nebraska State Patrol. We'd like to talk to you. You can come to the front door. That'd be great. We'd like to talk to you.
With the suspect refusing to communicate, the SWAT team was commissioned to begin making preparations to enter the home. Finally, at about 3 a.m., Jared Falcana opened the door and surrendered to police.
Settle her down, kid. Get your thinking about you.
According to the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office, the suspect was charged with second-degree assault and use of a weapon to commit a felony. They also state it's an ongoing investigation, which means it's leaving the possibility for more charges. Now, police did confirm in their statements that it appears that alcohol was a contributing factor into last night's events. From Nebraska, I'm Jace Barraclough.
And follows around, and from here, basically all the way around to where we drove in is all gone.
Here in Sargent, Nebraska, the Clear Creek Ranch would take on devastation this winter, which is predicted to take years to recuperate.
So as calving was beginning, happened to be the same exact week that this bomb cyclone, as they call it, hit this part of Nebraska. As we were moving cattle around, we had been mostly concerned about blizzard conditions that were supposed to come the next day, that we finally said to ourselves, we're dealing with flooding. And how bad is it going to get? We had not anticipated that at all.
Peterson says the storm ended up claiming the lives of their newest calves.
We had calves born in the storm and we simply couldn't get to them because of the floodwaters. You know, a new calf born, usually if it's just cold, they'll get up, get licked off and dried off, and they'll be just fine. But there was no place for anybody to go.
Leah says not even the best of plans could have protected them from what Mother Nature had in store.
It was the first time I can say that I ever saw my dad afraid, because all of the emergency plans that we live by were failing one by one because it was such a weather phenomenon.
Peterson says the raging river combined with the storm felt like the world was crumbling around her.
It sounded like a train as it goes on the tracks. When the eye of the storm passed, and it was so surreal because the sky turned blue and the wind quit for a minute. And the water kept coming up, but it was probably for an hour of peace and tranquility, except for the roaring. And then after that, the wind switched as the blizzard came in, and we had thunder and lightning and hail pellets. It truly felt like doomsday.
It's been 2 months since Leah's nightmare came true. Now, she says putting the puzzle back together piece by piece is how she and her family are working to get back.
I remind myself of things that my Dad has always said over the years, and we're a multi-generation operation here, that you stay focused on the big picture and one step at a time. And when we were going through the horrid conditions in March and April, it was 1 hour at a time. If we stay focused on the mission and take each little piece as it comes, that we will be fine.
Though taking things day by day have been helping all of those who've been affected in Custer County, there is a way others can pitch in.
CusterCountyFoundation.org, I believe, is their website, and people can donate their funds there, and they can also request assistance from the Disaster Relief Fund. It's just been really heartwarming to see that fund thrive and grow, and people giving as well as helping those who really have a need.
In Custer County, Jace Barraclough, NBC Nebraska News 2.
Once you checked in here, then you're officially in our school.
North Platte Public Schools are looking to increase their security.
We've done a lot of things to address some of these issues, but during this 2-year search, investigating, making sure we're doing things correctly, we discovered a couple of vulnerable spots in our schools.
Superintendent Dr. Ron Hansen says they've assembled a safety and security committee to analyze areas of weakness within their schools.
The entrance here, now I'm in, I have access to the school, so as you can see, I have access to the instructional wing here. I have access to the instructional wing here. So to be officially check in, I have to go down this hall. Again, our commons to the left here, but the office actually, the attendance area sits right here, so to officially check in to this facility, I walk in and it's here. So I've had a large amount of access to this facility before I officially checked into the facility here.
In order to increase the security in all of these schools, as it is with anything, it's going to require funding. North Platte Public Schools will finish paying for North Platte High School's bond next year. With the public's approval, they can shift the 4.5-cent tax to focus on the safety and security initiative, which means there would be no change for the taxpayer. According to Dr. Hansen, even things like an external ventilation system are considered a weak spot for security.
The air units have not been updated, so when you talk about access and you leave doors open, windows open to maintain or monitor your temperature, that becomes another vulnerable spot. So air quality improvements are another targeted area. You don't think about that when it comes to safety and security, but it is.
Dr. Hansen, as well as the rest of the administration, are hoping citizens will vote in favor of the Safety and Security Initiative in March. In North Platte, Jace Barraclough, NBC Nebraska News 2.